Danny Segura in Miami, Florida, standing next to Ali Abdelaziz, manager of the Stars, obviously head of Dominance MMA. Ali, we're here for Eagle FC 46, second event that Habib Nurmagomedov's promotion is hosting here in Miami. Overall, how do you look at the event? Any lessons learned from the first one, you think?
When you mention Habib name, you have to be the Hall of Famer now. He's in Hall of Famer. No, here I'm at Eagle FC. Great main event, great co-main event. Have a heavyweight title fight, as you know. Kevin Lee fighting Diego Sanchez, Ray Borg fighting Ricky Pendejo, Ramazan Kuni fighting Ante Hamlet for the heavyweight title. Um, like it's one of the most special arena in the world. It's a beautiful arena, and it's a great main event. It's gonna be this weekend.
I feel like Miami suits you. You like coming down to South Florida, huh?
I just like for the weekend and go home. I like Vegas. I like Vegas. I'm a Vegas guy.
And you mentioned that real quick. Habib got inducted, or will be getting inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. That's huge. Did you sort of expect it? I mean, it was kind of like, if anybody was gonna get inducted pretty soon, it was him, right?
UFC told me 2 weeks ago, and I hid it from him, and I have to hide it from the whole team, and it was so hard because the fight happened. He wanted to go home. I was like, no, no, stay. He's like, why need me to stay? And I was like, you just need to stay because I know they're gonna announce it. It was a great moment, one of the most proud of moment in my career to see an amazing. You see guys like Anderson Silva is not even inducted in the Hall of Fame yet, and you see someone like Khabib turn around like that so fast and get inducted. It was surreal. It was surreal to see him get inducted. If anybody deserved it, it was him.
Why do you think? I mean, there's so many reasons, but what do you think is the main reason why he deserves to be in the UFC Hall of Fame? What is his legacy that puts him in that sort of prestigious spot?
If we talk about skill level, he's pound for pound one of the greatest fighter we've ever seen. Definitely one of the most dominant fighters in UFC history. Barely lost. You can argue lost any rounds. Just a great role model to our sport. A great human being. Great leader. A guy who not money, not fame had changed him, and he always said money and fame doesn't change people. It shows who the people is, and this man have more fame and more money than everybody in the world. And I just admire him, and I love him so much for who he is, and he make me become a better person. He make everybody around him become a better person, and I love him to death because of that.
And I want to ask you something related to him. Islam Makhachev got recently in the headlines. Obviously, he was supposed to, we don't really know what the story is, but he had raised his hand to step in on short notice for Rafael Fisiv. Something happened where he didn't end up fighting at UFC 272. There seems to be two sides of the story between what Islam has said and told ESPN, and also what Dana White has said, that he said Islam turned down the fight. Can you give us some clarity on what went down between those two?
Listen, Islam called me. He wanted to fight. We tried to make the fight happen. Just to be very honest, like he drove back from California, uh, and it was all day. It was stress for him. And it was a little option. We asked for a little something, and it did come a little bit late. I'm not, Dana did come through, but it was exhausting all day. But at the end of the day, listen, I don't like to talk about business publicly. I don't think anybody was in the wrong here. Islam fought 4 days before. I don't think anybody accept him to fight. It is what it is. We always do good business with the UFC and Dana. Sometimes, at the end of the day, Islam, it's hard to deny him. He's 10 fights winning streak. He's very dominant last four fight. He's supposed to fight Benny, who's one of my guys, who I love him very dearly. He's my brother. It didn't. He broke his legs. But at the end of the day, now it's up to the UFC what they're gonna do, right? At the end of the day, when my guys come up to this level, I'll let the UFC decide what they're gonna do. But if you look at Islam, is reign right now, you can't deny him. Even if you look at Benil, then you can't deny him. If you see guys like Chandler getting a title fight after one win, Benil got 7, Islam got 10. These two guys can fight for the title back to back, and nobody can say nothing to them. But at the end of the day, Dana make the call. I'm just there to make it easier for my guys, and I respect everybody's decisions, whatever they're gonna do.
What's the update on Benil? Because it's surprising that Dana says that that's the fight that's going to happen. From what I've read, the injury is pretty serious, right? It seems like he's going to be out for a while, but can you give us some insight into the window for his return?
Benil is a madman. Benil wanted to wrap his legs and jump and fight, but he couldn't even walk. We don't know what Benil's come back. Some guys said he needs surgery. Some guys said not. Some guys said September, August, July. It's gonna be up to Benil how he feel. We have to see how the man feel. He gonna make the decision. He's the one gonna step inside the cage and fight, and he know when he's ready.
And switching gears here, let's talk about Kamaru Usman. What's the update on him? We know that he recently got a hand surgery. How is he doing? And when can we expect him to return?
When you mention Kamaru's name, you're gonna see the pound for pound king, the greatest fighter of all the time, the greatest lightweight of all the time, the greatest champion of all the time, because he's a real champion. This man is a real champion. Look at his strength of schedule, the way he dismantled his opponents. You see what he did to Masvidal and Kobe. He make both of them look like they're on a different class of fighter, and he is on a different class of fighter as a fighter. The man has done everything he had to do. He have beaten everybody. He's going second round around around. Probably gonna see him international fight week in July versus Leon Edward. I know he don't want to fight Jake Paul. He don't want to fight Logan Paul. He said, "I'm the pound for pound king in MMA. I want to fight the pound for pound coward in boxing, because I think all these boxers are cowards, because none of them want to come to MMA. They all want to come to boxing, right? But at the end of the day, in a street fight, who's the baddest man on the planet? They cannot call Canelo the baddest man on the planet. They cannot call Canelo the pound for pound best boxer, because if they both met in the street, who's gonna win? Kamaru beat his ass like he stole something. Listen, at the end of the day, this is what he wants. He want to fight Canelo in September. This is a different conversation. First, he have to defend his title in July, and the greatest promoter of all the time, Mr. Dana White, have to stamp on it. And we will not do anything in boxing or anything without Dana, because, my opinion, he's the greatest promoter of all the time. And if him involved in UFC machine behind anything, it's just so much bigger. But they both have great relationship. They both always talk, and I'm sure. The most important right now is July. Beat Leon Edward.
Obviously, Kamaru's down to fight Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo the other day said, maybe I'll entertain the idea. But Dana White has said, look, I don't think that's such a great idea. Do you think this can happen?
Listen, Dana is a guy who likes to listen to people. He's not just gonna be like, no, 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 no. He respects Kamaru enough to listen to him. I believe, I have a good enough relationship to talk with him too. But at the end of the day, he's Kamaru's under contract with the UFC, and we have to respect the contract. But Kamaru have done everything in the sport. Sometimes when guys does this much in the sport, you give him what he wants.
How do you think he would do? Because, I mean, a lot of people are saying, Canelo's the greatest. In boxing, of course. I think in a street fight, we can all agree that Kamaru would just run through him. But in boxing, I mean, do you give him a chance?
Kamaru knock him out in 3 rounds.
Do you really think so?
I do so. Listen, you cannot say no to Kamaru. You cannot say no to Kamaru. He's a guy who's come from Africa, has jumped a lot of obstacles. I believe in Kamaru. This is the difference between me and other people. When I'm in people, I believe in him. I live with him. I breathe with him. I die with him. I fight with him. And especially the special person in my life. How many street fights me and Kamaru been to? We've been in a lot of street fights, and I have to believe in him. I believe Kamaru can beat any man alive.
And now switching to another gear, Kayla Harrison, it was announced recently that she signed a multi-year contract with PFL. It seems Bellator kind of got in the race towards the end. Can you explain to me or the people out there, like, why PFL? What was the deciding factor for Kayla to re-sign with PFL?
Kayla Harrison, the greatest combat sport of all the time. I know Henry's going to be mad at me, but she's about to win a 3rd title. She's the greatest Olympian in combat sport of all the time. She's the greatest female fighter of all the time. She is the shit. Excuse my language. Listen, at the end of the day, PFL always been a great partner. I never take a fighter in the free agency in my life. That was the first time ever. It was brutal. It was tough. It was hard. It was hard to be. It was like, I want to be so respectful to everybody. I want to give a big shout out to Mike Hogan, Scott Coker, Bellator. PFL allowed us to go to a free agency. We went to free agency. They come with an unbelievable offer. I didn't think PFL can match it, uh, but honestly, uh, PFL stepped up. Pete Murray, Don Davis, PFL have stepped up in a big way. They matched the offer, and it was not bad of idea to become a free agent. I'm always scared about it. The first time in my 20 years management career, I did it, and it paid off. And I'm very, very grateful for Scott Coker, for Mike Hogan, for Bellator, and I'm grateful also uh, for Pete and all those guys on the other side. And you always think about relationship. When you go to this free agency, and I managed. Luckily, everybody was cool. Everybody was happy. Kayla now she's gonna be in the season 2022 season. She's gonna run through everybody like she always does. It doesn't matter who she gonna fight. I believe she is the best combat athlete female right now in boxing and MMA, and she's the most dominant. She cannot be touched. This woman did not. Nobody even hit her. I believe none of this woman out there inside PFL, outside BF, UFC, Bellator, anybody can touch her. They can't touch her. And we thought maybe we see the Cyborg fight, but Cyborg is under contract with Scott Coker and Bellator. This is her masters. Kayla have a different master now, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But I'm grateful for everybody have involved in this conversation. Everybody was great. I want to thank you to the Pedros, been big part of Kayla's career. That was great advisor. Her Michael Mersch, Sam, her lawyer. Everybody was such a great people to talk to, and I learned. I thought I know everything. I don't. I learn a lot about free agency, but Kayla is the highest female fighter ever, and I know Adesanya say this, Masvidal say this. The highest paid male fighter in the UFC is Conor McGregor. Number two is Kamaru Usman. Everybody else, I guarantee you, Kayla Harrison make more money than all these other two guys I just mentioned. Guarantee you.
Well, how much money is she making?
Too much money. I don't think she can count in 3 weeks. That's how much money she can make. But what? She deserve it. She deserve it, and I'm telling you, free agency was not bad.
So she makes more than UFC champions with this current deal. Or some.
Definitely, it's not even close. It's not even close. Him and Kamaru, they friends, and they kind of competing right now. They kind of going neck to neck.
Who's winning?
They're very, very close. It's very close. But listen, she's the queen of the castle. She's the number one draw in PFL. They valued her. I'm grateful because at one point I said, okay, maybe not, but I was wrong because they really valued her, and they matched the deal and some on top of it, right? And but and that's why I said I'm grateful for Mike Hogan, Scott Coker, and these guys because they allowed me to go and get a deal, and they said, what, we value Kayla, and PFL come back said, no, we value her too, and we have a right to match, and they match it.
And it's interesting because with the press release announcement that PFL sent, they also said that she was going to be apart from the season and the tournament, she was going to be part of this super fight series, pay-per-view venture that PFL is launching. And a lot of people then started speculating, does this mean we can see some cross-promotion and maybe Cyborg versus Kayla down the line in a co-promotion Bellator and PFL? You've seen the contract. I mean, is that sort of the language? Could that be a possibility?
Listen, Cyborg is a Bellator fighter. Kayla is a PFL fighter. Whatever super fight is going to happen with somebody inside PFL. It's not going to happen with somebody in Bellator, because it's a completely different entity. At the end of the day, listen, I know both people. I'm good with both people. But at the end of the day, it's very hard to get two promoters to sit down and talk. And it's not my job. I can be in the middle. They ask me to. But at the end of the day, PFL will fight people in PFL. Cyborg will fight people in Cyborg. To be honest with you, I don't know if you are champion in any other promotion, you really want to fight Kayla.
I mean, I think Cyborg does.
Listen.
Whether she'll win, I don't know, but
Listen, I don't know if she does. I don't know if she doesn't. We don't know. People say a lot of things in the media. I say a lot of stuff. People believe everything I said? Probably not. But I just think people can say. But when the contract has drawn, we don't know what kind of move you're gonna make. You don't know how you're gonna feel. You don't know what kind of butterfly you're gonna feel. You know. But at the end of the day, one thing I can tell you, she's the greatest female fighter of all the time, not just today. It's not Ronda, it's not Amanda Nunes. She is. She's the most dominant, for sure. She have not been touched. They all lost. She have not lost. They all been touched. She have not been touched, and she's definitely the highest paid female athlete of all the time.
And just real quick, like last event, what was it, like more than a month ago for the last Eagle FC event here in Miami, Eagle FC 44. We had spoken about Magomed Sharipov and Zabit and sort of his future. And you said that you were going to go and meet with the UFC and discuss what's next. And you said like in the next couple of weeks, meaning almost a month ago now. Can you give us an update on him?
Let me give you an update. What about Eagle FC's rating? They have, I think, total of 930,000 views. To 57% in the US, 20% in Canada. Russia is the fourth. I believe Australia was the third, right? I think the Eagle FC, the rating is off the roof. Honestly, I didn't believe it. And I went back to the guys who run this place. I said, can you give me the numbers? And they gave me the numbers. And I think PFL to almost get 1 million views for the first show, I think was unbelievable. We'll get back to Zabit. Zabit, I think, I don't know what Zabit down. You know, when he's ready to fight, he's going to let me know. But for right now, he's not doing nothing.
Well, I appreciate the time, Ali. I know we got a presser that's about to start, so appreciate the time. Thank you so much.